It's the day after Christmas. You feel heavy, bloated, low in energy. You notice your clothes start to fit a bit tighter. Your motivation is gone. And deep down, deep down, you're telling yourself, I'll start in January, just like you've told yourself last year, the year before, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. You keep telling yourself that. But here's the truth nobody wants to say. You did not lose control over the holidays. Your brain did. And if you don't fix this now, unfortunately, 2026 will look exactly like every other year you said you'd lock in. And I used to be that chubby kid who could not stop eating junk food. I grew up in the Netherlands. I was a very fat kid growing up. I was constantly eating these sugary, hyper palatable processed foods. And now, fast forward, I wake up craving actual real food, which includes fruits, protein, and just real food, single ingredient foods. Not because I have more discipline, but because my brain has changed. Now, I've helped hundreds of busy men drop 30 to 50 pounds, all without cutting out their favorite foods. And by the end of this video, my goal is that you will understand why food controls you right now and how you can actually take control of this. Once again, so we're going to break down why your dopamine right now is absolutely wrecked, how to reset your taste buds, and then I'm also going to give you a 7-day dopamine detox that you can start today before the new year even starts. Because a lot of people will wait from now all the way up into the New Year's, sitting on a couch, eating leftovers, eating junk food. And they keep telling themselves, right, that they'll start on Monday. They'll start on January 1st. New year, new me. How many more years are you going to keep telling yourself this lie? And you and I both know this is a lie, because I used to tell myself this as well. I would let myself go and I'd feel good about it because I'm like, you know what? It's December 26th, the day after Christmas. I feel bloated. I feel lethargic. I feel whatever. Let me just wait. Let me just continue on eating because I'm kind of like in the spirit. I'm in the mood. I have some leftovers. I'm with my family. I'm with my friends. Let me just continue on doing this. Let me just gain a couple more pounds. Let me gain 5, 10 more pounds before the New Year's actually starts. Let me actually dig myself in a deeper hole before I actually dig myself out of it again. You may not tell yourself this, but this is exactly what you're doing. And the reason I can explain this in so much detail is because I used to do this every single year before I actually took initiative and actually said, you know what? Regardless of what time of year it is, I want to change. I need to change. Let me do it now. Let me not wait for the perfect moment, because the perfect moment does not exist. The moment you actually want to change is the moment you should change, and not wait for an arbitrary day or date or deadline. Because that is the very reason why you have stayed stuck and will keep staying stuck unless you make this change. So let's start with section number 1. Why right now you feel completely out of control. Let's be real here. Between Thanksgiving and Christmas, you didn't just overeat. You overloaded your brain with processed sugar, ultra processed foods, alcohol, and constant stimulation. Every bite you ate spiked that dopamine. And dopamine isn't pleasure, it is desire. And the more that you spike it, the more your brain says, give me more, give me more, give me more, because it's addicting. We want more of it, right? You eat one small little bite of junk food, one little cookie, one little plate of food. You're like, oh my goodness, this was good. This was really, really good. I want more. You're almost like a crack addict, a drug addict who just can't stop at one. They want multiple. They want 2. They want 3. They want 4. They want 5, because they're addicted to that feeling. They love that feeling. It feels so good. And if it feels good, why stop? Like, let's keep on chasing more and more and more and more. But what you're doing here is you're absolutely destroying your dopamine receptors. And so this is why you dig yourself in this super big hole where you never actually feel satisfied. And one cookie will turn into 6. And unfortunately, healthy food just feels boring. And you are not messed up. because science actually backs this up. Because studies in nature, neuroscience, and cell metabolism show that ultra-processed foods desensitize dopamine receptors. Now, what this means is that you need more stimulation to feel normal. Andrew Huberman, who is a very popular, famous social media scientist, great person to look up to. If you're into dopamine, science, health, definitely look into his stuff. But the way he describes this is the more dopamine you seek, the more of a hole that you dig for yourself. But once you get out of that hole, so once your dopamine resets again, it never comes back to true baseline. It always goes a little bit below baseline. And so every time you seek this dopamine behavior of eating the junk food, sleeping in, watching porn, whatever your bad behaviors are, yes, you get that instant gratification of feeling good in that moment. And then afterwards, you maybe have like this, you kind of feel a bit guilty, right? But then as your dopamine rises, it never truly comes back to baseline, what it used to be. So let's say, for example, your baseline dopamine started here. You do the instant gratification of eating the junk food. You dig yourself in a hole, and now as it resets, it doesn't come back to baseline anymore. It actually falls slightly below baseline. So every single time you're just digging yourself in this deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper hole, where eventually you find yourself in a situation where you look at an apple and you're like, that is disgusting. You look at a salad, you're like, that is gross. You look at a chicken breast, you're like, how could I ever eat that? Because now your brain, you are just so addicted and used to eating fried chicken, to eating candies, to eating sweets, where when you think of real food, fruits, veggies, foods that only have one ingredient in them, foods that God gave us, no longer seem palatable. And once again, the reason I can explain this in so much detail is because I used to view regular food like that, where I was constantly eating these donuts, these muffins for breakfast, the sugary cereals, where like if chubby Cohnan were to look at my behaviors right now as a fit, athletic, healthy person, I would puke. I'd be like, what the heck? What is going on? Because I was so used to eating this sugary bowl of cereal every single morning for breakfast, whereas now I just eat a plain bowl of oatmeal with some blueberries on top, eggs on the side. I could not fathom that as a chubby kid growing up. But now, because I've reset my taste buds and I've gone through the process of resetting my dopamine receptors, where I actually look forward to that. I look forward to eating fruits, to eating vegetables, to eating whole grains, healthy fats, proteins, dried chicken breasts, whatever it may be. My mouth is salivating right now. I am like, oh my goodness, I want this. After this live call, I'm actually going to do that exactly. I'm going to eat a nice bowl of oatmeal, add some salt, some cinnamon, add some blueberries on top, have a couple of eggs, and I'm going to feel good. I'm going to feel satiated. I'm going to feel satisfied, and I'm going to feel ready to absolutely attack my goals. No mid-afternoon slump, no energy crashes, no feeling lethargic, and more importantly, no looking like a fat person. I'm fit. I can run marathons. I can compete in bodybuilding shows. I can do high rocks competitions. I can actually live life on my own standards. I get to travel the road. I get to go on hikes, all because I've set my health in a good place. And you can do that too. I am not special. All of the clients that I work with, hundreds by now, they are not special. They started exactly where you are starting from right now, where they were addicted to junk food. And they just thought to themselves, oh, this is just the way life is. My taste buds are ruined. My body is ruined. My health is ruined. I can no longer change this. Yes, you can. You 100% can. Because if I can, if my clients can, if people you see on social media, like you walk down the street, I'm sure you'll see maybe one out of 100 people, which is unfortunate, but that's the society we live in nowadays. You'll see at least one person who's in shape, who has six-pack abs. So if he can do it, you can do it. Right? So going back to my story, I used to live this. I was a chubby kid growing up. Cereals, snacks, fast food, sugar. And I didn't even crave meat. I didn't crave steak. I didn't crave fruits. I just craved the dopamine. But when I cleaned things up, not perfectly, just consistently, something crazy happened. Fruit started to taste sweet again. Whole foods actually became satisfying. And junk food, for once, actually felt gross. How crazy does that sound? From me used to fantasize about Burger King, McDonald's, I used to literally have dreams about going to McDonald's, about what I would order there, about the French fries, about the dipping sauce, about the burgers. I used to dream about that, which sounds crazy. Whereas now I'm like, that's gross. That's disgusting. And if you actually look at how these food companies manufacture their food, it's like, we're just not even meant to eat that. Like, if you truly look at how people make it, these food scientists, these chemists, and keep in mind, like, this is their sole job, their main job, the way they make their living, the way they make money is by figuring out human biology, dopamine, what we crave, how we behave, and how they can manipulate food, which is supposed to just fuel our everyday lives, to become as tasty, as addictive, as hyper palatable as possible, so that once you eat a small little slice, a small little bite, you just want more of it. And you just keep on buying more and more and more, because you're addicted. That is their goal. Like, at the end of the day, like, you got to keep in mind, they're running a business. And if people no longer buy what they have to offer, they'd be run out of business, essentially. And so, tangent aside, like, that's not part of what I want to talk about. But ultimately, like, yeah, most of these companies, they run a business. And if people keep on buying their stuff, they're going to keep on making it, obviously. But if people just stop buying their stuff, and people somehow magically stop going to McDonald's, guess what? McDonald's is probably going to change their menu. Like, if I were to just snap my fingers and everyone were to join my coaching program, and I got everyone into the best shape possible by resetting their dopamine, resetting their taste buds, no one will be going to McDonald's anymore. And guess what McDonald's would do? McDonald's will probably stop selling you all this hyper palatable processed foods, and they'd probably start selling apples and foods that I would recommend people to eat, right? Because at the end of the day, like, yes, they are running a business, and whatever the consumer wants, they will make. Anyway, aside from that, let's talk about some client results, because I see this every single week with my clients. Guys who tell me, I can't stop snacking. I have no willpower. I just love junk food way too much. 2 weeks later, after joining, they're saying, I don't even crave that stuff anymore. Now, one of my clients, he dropped 38 pounds. Another stopped binging entirely, not because of motivation, because of discipline, but because their dopamine normalized. We reset their dopamine. And now when your brain actually starts working again the way that it should be, the way that it used to be, fat loss becomes so easy. I've gone through multiple fat loss phases. I've competed in 3 bodybuilding shows. I have ran 4 marathons. I have done 1 high-works competition. And every single one of them that I did, from when I first started to where I am now, they just kept on getting easier and easier and easier. We're now at a point where it just feels effortless. I don't have to think twice about dropping body fat. I don't even have to worry about maintaining my 6-pack abs. I just do it automatically. I live my life, I do my thing, and I just happen to have 6-pack abs year round. And as a chubby kid growing up, I could not even fathom that, right? But once again, know that this is possible for you as well. So let's actually talk about the strategy here, how to reset your taste buds. Here's the full reset that I have mapped out for you. I have a couple steps, so make sure you have a pen and paper handy, write things down, take a mental note of it, because here we go. Step number 1, remove hyper palatable foods. This is a 7-day challenge, by the way. So for the next 7 days, remove every single hyper palatable food in your environment, which means no fast food, no ultra processed snacks, and no sugary drinks. Now, this isn't forever. This isn't going to be like a forever type of thing, just long enough for your taste buds to actually reset. Now, this is really important because I talked about your environment. If you live in a household, if you live in a room, if you just live in an environment where you're just constantly surrounded and bombarded by cookies, frozen pizzas, leftover food, just all this greasy stuff, it becomes very difficult for you to eat healthy due to your environment. Common sense, right? So why make it hard on yourself? Make it easy on yourself by removing these foods. Remove the trigger foods. Get rid of the ice cream. You don't need to have ice cream in your freezer. You do not need to have frozen pizzas in your freezer. You don't. You really don't. You're an adult. Now, if you're living with other people, that will be slightly more difficult. I used to live with roommates. I used to live with my family. I used to live with my siblings, but I was still able to do this. How? I used a couple of strategies. I either asked them to lock it up so I physically could not get access to it. I asked them to hide it so I physically could not see it, because when it's out of sight, it is out of mind. Those are two things that I will tell you to do right now. Either have them lock it up, or at the very least hide it. Hide it behind something, I don't know. Or have a secret drawer where they only keep their chips and their donuts and their cookies in their secret drawer, which you don't have access to, or just have them put it in their room. Whatever it may be, get creative with it. Doesn't matter. But I guarantee you, if you can do this, it'll be so much easier. So if you can pretty much just get rid of all the food in your house, that's going to be ideal. And now once everything is outside of your house, restock your environments with the good stuff. And I'm doing this right now. Like, ever since I started living on my own the past couple of years now, I just noticed that it just became so easy for me ever since moving out from my house with my family, moving out from my roommates, and I started living on my own. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is a cheat code. This is a hack. Because now I'm not surrounded. I'm not tempted by any food. I just only have food in my fridge, in my freezer, that I know aligns with my goals. So for example, I have frozen fruits, frozen vegetables in my freezer. That's pretty much it. I have meal prep in my fridge that I order online, just a bunch of chicken breasts basically. And I got some steak and some salmon. I have apples, bananas. What else do I have? I think that's it. I have oatmeal in the pantry. I have a couple seasonings. That's pretty much it. That's all that I have. And so by me explaining to you what is inside of my kitchen within my environment, how easy do you think it is for me to stick to my diet, to stick to eating healthy food? It is effortless. It is so easy. Whenever I'm hungry and I want something convenient, guess what is most convenient? My meal prep in my fridge. I'm a 5-second walk away, microwave for 2 minutes, boom, there you go. Meal ready to go. Whereas if I wanted to eat junk food, well, it's like, well, I have nothing in my house. So now I actually added friction to that. See how much friction there's involved now where, okay, let's say hypothetically speaking, I wanted to eat junk food. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm dying for some Oreos. I'm dying for some ice cream. Okay, cool. Let's play it out. I gotta put on my shoes, gotta put on my winter coat because it's cold outside. Actually, by the way, I definitely will not be eating ice cream right now. It is way too cold for that. But let's say I'm craving pizza. Same thing, same example. I got to put on my shoes, put on my winter coat. I got to go downstairs, grab my car keys, drive 10, 15, 20 minutes away to the nearest pizza store, whatever, stand in line, figure out what pizza I want, wait another 20 minutes for them to bake the pizza, sit down, and then eat it. I am literally, realistically speaking, an hour away from me right now to me actually eating the pizza. And as human beings, we're all about convenience. Like, we are convenience-based creatures. The more convenient it is for us to do something, the more likely we are to do it. So knowing this, if you can manipulate your environment to make the healthy choice the easy choice and the unhealthy choice the harder choice, you're just making it easier for yourself to stick to this, right? Now, unfortunately, with that said though, we do also live in an environment where that actually is no longer the case, where realistically speaking, like if I wanted to get a pizza, I probably will not do that. I'd probably go on Uber Eats. I'd probably go to a pizza app on the App Store and I can realistically just order something. I'm like a tap away from Uber Eats, from DoorDash, having them deliver it to my house. So that is quite unfortunate, where it is becoming increasingly more easier to access the junk food, the hyper palatable foods, but just don't even have the apps in the first place. Like, I don't have any of these apps. Like, why? And also, just from a money perspective, like, it's so much cheaper just buying healthy food. And you may argue that it's not. Like, yes, it is in the short term and especially in the long term, because I'm not going to be having medical bills when I'm older. I'm going to stay injury free. I'm going to stay healthy. Whereas the people who neglect their health right now, sure, you may get away with it short term, but long term, like, you're going to have some medical bills pile up. You're maybe going to find yourself getting injured. You may fall down the stairs. You may not be able to keep up with your children. You may pull a muscle. You may, like, your risk of just death in general, like, let me just put it bluntly, is a lot higher if you don't prioritize your health. So if you want to live a healthier, longer, more fulfilled, more enjoyable life, it all starts by eating healthier. And the way you do that is by priming your environments to make that as easy as possible. So moving on to step number 2, replace the bad food with the good food. And what that means is proteins, lean cuts, chicken breast, lean ground beef, fish, eggs, egg whites, low-fat Greek yogurt, fruits, any type of fruit, preferably berries, frozen if you can because they last a lot longer. They're picked at peak ripeness and they tend to be a bit cheaper too. Vegetables, any type of cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, leafy greens, spinach, kale, any type of vegetable. And then just some simple carbs. Potatoes are my go-to. They actually rank the highest on a satiety index, which means that they fill you up the most out of any food. Any food. Potatoes, russet potatoes. I eat them every single day. Puts fat loss on easy mode. Easy mode. Or it could be yams, sweet potato if you want. You could have some rice, although I'm not a huge fan of rice. Oatmeal is great, high in fiber, just whole grain foods. Now with this, because this is a 7-day challenge, no sauces, no crazy flavors, and nothing to like spike your dopamine instantly. Boring food fixes your broken dopamine. Moving on to step 3, prioritize protein. Protein stabilizes blood sugar and reduces your cravings, as it takes a bit longer for your body to break down compared to carbs and fats. Studies have also shown that higher protein intakes increase satiety hormones like GLP-1 and reduces your hunger. This is why it works. And I see so many people, this like grinds my gears. I find this like crazy. People will take the shortcuts and just take the GLP-1 shots, but they'll just jump over their diet. They'll neglect their diet and just go straight into the GLP-1s. Now, if you go into taking these shots without even knowing how to eat properly like a normal human being, you're just setting yourself up for failure, because it's going to kill your appetite, but you're still going to be eating like a 6-year-old kid. You're still going to be eating sugary foods. And guess what ends up happening? Now, because you're going to be nutrient deprived, you're going to be energy deprived, and you still have a trashy crap diet, you're going to end up looking like a very unhealthy, frail, skinny fat. You're likely going to be even more unhealthier by taking the shot with your current eating habits, eating like a 6-year-old kid. Because now you're eating just less of the crappy food. You're going to be more nutrient deprived, less minerals, less micros, less protein. You're going to be losing muscle. Sure, you may lose a bit of weight, but you're also going to be losing muscle. And you're going to put yourself in a much unhealthier state as a result. So if you can just fix your eating habits first and actually do the work now, get into a proper exercise routine, prioritize your sleep, reduce your stress, do the basic things, I guarantee you, you're going to be saving money, and you won't have to rely on this shot, on this pill that so many doctors are giving out nowadays without fixing the root cause. It's just a Band-Aid. And guess what? Now you're relying on this Band-Aid. You're relying on this shot, which I don't know, like could be a couple $100 a week, a couple $100 a month. That adds up. Whereas eating healthier, working out, walking outside, getting fresh air, it's going to be far cheaper, far, far, far cheaper. And it's actually going to fix the root cause of the issue. Step 4 is lower dopamine noise. So this isn't just food noise. This is like everything, which means for 1 week, this entire week, less scrolling on your phone, more walking and better sleep. You're not missing motivation. You're just overstimulated. So make sure that you only listen to good stuff. You subscribe to my YouTube channel. You subscribe to my podcast. You listen to all of I've over 175 podcasts on my podcast channel right now. For the next week straight, listen to every single one of them. Just listen to every single one of them. I guarantee you, it's pretty much going through an entire university course over health, habits, nutrition, exercise. And by the end of this 7 days, not only are you going to be able to reset your taste buds, your dopamine, you're also going to be learning a crap ton from me as well. So add that into your routine, add that into your challenge. Now here's like the full 7-day dopamine reset, putting it all together. Here's your challenge heading into the new year. The 7-day dopamine reset is as follows. Whole foods only, protein with every single meal, no liquid calories. Get rid of the sugary foods. Get rid of the fruit juices, the sodas, the pops. Replace it with water, sparkling water, electrolytes, or 0-calorie alternatives. 8 to 10,000 steps every single day, and sleep 7 to 8 hours straight. You don't have to calorie count during this time. Nothing extreme, no suffering, just pure clarity. And by day 7, I guarantee you, your cravings will drop. Your energy will come back. Food will taste better, and your confidence will return. And for the first time in a very long time, you'll feel in control again. Now, if you want help doing this without burning out or giving up the food you love over the long term, what you can go ahead and do is book a free consultation call with me down below, where we'll essentially go over your current goals. We'll see exactly how much weight you're looking to lose heading into the new year of 2026, whether it's 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 40 pounds, 50 pounds, even up to 100 pounds. We'll see exactly what's holding you back right now, whether it is your messed up taste buds, your dopamine receptors, lack of structure, lack of time, lack of priorities, whatever it may be. And then we'll create a game plan together to help you absolutely crush your goals in the next 3 to 6 months. If that sounds good to you, the link will be in the description down below, and I'll see you all there. Peace.